Alright, in today's video we're going to be testing out the Veetireco Speedsters. We're going to compare the sound to the CST BFTs to see how much difference the sound makes by using a street tire like the Veetireco Speedsters compared to the stock CST BFTs. In my Veetireco Speedsters install, it was actually my accessories video for the Kepler. I kind of demonstrated this already, but I was using two different microphones. So this one's going to be a little bit better because it's the same camera, same microphone, and I have footage with my old tires. We're going to take the bike down to the exact same path that we went with the CST BFTs with the exact same microphone, so you guys will be able to hear exactly what the road noise sounds like. Now we're going down a highway, so there's going to be a lot of car noise as well. There was in the last video. So hopefully we'll get a point where there's no cars and you can actually hear the difference. But we're going to just gun it all the way down the highway and try to get the best sound possible so that you guys can hear the difference. So I've been planning this video before I even got the tires in the mail, so it's been a couple months. Now if you watch my last video, you'll know that there's a lot less rolling resistance with these tires. Or we might have just got really lucky. Lots of brake lights back there. Lots of in the roadway too. So in the previous video, I was doing a sound comparison to these tires, which are the Veetireco Speedsters. And during that test, which is why it's taken me so long to get this video done, we got a flat. And it's all because of this little piece of metal right here. So we're going to pull that out, and I purchased some FlatOut. Now this is a preventative, so you should actually put this in before you get a flat. If I had this in there, I probably wouldn't have never even known I got a flat. But today's video, we're going to see if this will keep the hole that's in this tube filled by putting it in after the fact. I do have tire patches and all of that if I need it, but I just wanted to experiment and see what happens if you don't have anything in your tires at all, if FlatOut will fix the flat for you. So we're going to do that. I'm going to pull this tire off. We're going to take the tube out, inspect it, make sure there's nothing else going on. I don't think there is. I looked at the whole tire very thoroughly, and it looks like this is the only thing that caused this to happen. Alright, here's the piece of metal right here. It's kind of hard to see because it is so small, and looks like it's pretty big. So there's the piece of metal right there. That's what was sticking in the tube. I think it was actually like this in the tire. So I pulled it out. I'm sure there's a hole in the tube. We'll just have to find that, circle it so you guys can see it. And then we'll see if the FlatOut will ooze out and patch the hole for me so I don't actually have to use a real patch. And then we'll have to test it, you know, within the next few weeks and see if it holds up. Now certainly I can probably pull this tube out without taking the rim off, patch it, and put it back in there or fill it up with FlatOut. But we're going to do it the hard way, take everything off the bike so you guys can see that process. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is pull off these caps on the bolts in the back here. That way we can take the nuts off the rim. So there's that, there's one on each side. Then we'll take a socket wrench, because if you try using a crescent wrench, you can probably get this off, but it's not as easy as with a socket wrench because of the derailleur guard. On the other side, here's the other cap. We're going to pull that cap off. We're also going to take that nut off. Over here we have to take the quick disconnect off the motor cable, so we just unscrew this. We'll clip these zip ties off to make it a little bit easier for us to get this cable off. Once you get all this free and you take these bolts off, I'll show you how to pull the wheel out. It's very simple as long as you follow these steps. Cable free. Alright, we're going to take our Allen keys next. So we'll take this nut off, this bolt off, the torque arm will come off. So if you have it on your highest gear, it's easier to take off, at least for me it is. If you have it on your lowest gear, which is up here, it's a little harder to get the wheel off and the chain off. I think having it on the highest gear, which is the littlest sprocket, the one closest to the frame, to get the wheel off is personally my choice to get this off. Or yeah, you might want to move. And that one in there tight. So take this nut off. Okay. We got that one off. Just set that nut to the side. We'll take our Allen key. We're going to pull this off. Set that to the side. Now this has a washer, so make sure you on there. Take your torque washer, torque arm, whatever you want to call this, and set it to the side. So it's just those three things on this plus the motor cable. Over here, where the lighting is better, we have pretty much the same thing on this side. Alright, so we're going to take our socket, put it in here. We're going to loosen that bolt, pull this off. After you get this bolt off, you'll have to take the fender bolt right here, this Allen key, remove that cable, and we need to remove this one right here, and then this whole guard should come off, derailleur guard should come off in one piece, of course. So this should, once you take this off, you'll need to set that to the side. And then your derailleur guard will come off. It's as simple as that. So now your fenders are loose here. This just slides off like so, and that's it. So this doesn't have a torque arm. This basically acts as a torque arm because it has a hole here and a hole here that screws into the frame. And it's great that this bike has that for as much power as it has. It should. So as you can see here, there are two of these washers here. These you just leave on. These are made to sit inside your fork, your rear dropout. These are dropout washers, and they're just basically got an end on it so it fits the wheel in place and kind of holds everything together. So I always just leave those on there. Now they may slide off when you start taking the tire off or get loose, so just make sure they're pushed all the way in when you put it back on. Take your tire, and when they're completely flat they're pretty easy to get off. But take your valve right here, push it all the way through, and you kind of have to pull on it from the other side, and then there you go. From here you can start taking the tire off. So what I do is I just kind of pull on one side. You can use tire anchors, tire irons if you want. I have some of those. But when you are taking the tire off, you don't actually need them. It does make it a little easier though. You just pull all the way around until you get it off. And once you get it semi-loose, then it just basically you run your finger through, and that's it. So get that all the way off on one side, and then you'll just leave the tire on here and pull the tube through. So since it's completely flat, it should be pretty easy to get out. You just pull this through like so. I call this tire or tube. Pull the tube through like this, all the way around until you get the tube out. Now I'm going to leave my tire on here, but you can certainly pull that off too if you want to inspect the inside. I'll inspect it while it's on here. But here we go, we got the tube out. Found it. It's right here. Huh. Such a small little leak. Yeah, that's it right there. You can't even see it. I know you won't be able to see it on camera, but I'm going to circle it so I know where it is. That's definitely going to get sealed by FlatOut. It's not big at all. You can see the air bubbles on video, I think. See that right there? In the middle there? Can you see that? It's right here. There's a bunch of air bubbles. Alright, there's the marked hole. You can kind of see it, but it's a very little tiny nick. And that right there is what caused the flat. So I'm pretty sure FlatOut can fix that easily. Now again, I know FlatOut is a preventative. If I would have had it in here, I probably wouldn't even known I had a flat. We're gonna fill this tube up with FlatOut and see if it works. Now this has a core remover on the cap itself, but it also comes with this tool if you buy the one with the tool. And you just stick this in here, twist the core out like so, and that will release all the air out of here. Now we just fill this up halfway. We'll fill this with half of the bottle, and then we do the same thing for the front, but the front we won't have to actually take off the bike. So let's go ahead and fill this up outside here. Stick that all the way in the tube and just squeeze this. There is a gauge here that will tell you how much you've used. Okay, there's half. So pull this off. Put the core back in. Let's get that on there so it's tight. You can definitely tell the tube is heavier. So there's a FlatOut right there. You can see it coming through that little hole. You can even hear it squeaking. So let's pull this off. If this doesn't work, I'll probably throw a patch on it anyways, but for now. Probably gonna have to give it time to work, but it looks like it's sealing it up. Alright, here's our tire. We gotta find our valve hole. Take our tube, stick it up inside the tire here, like so. Get our tube in the general area of where the valve needs to go in. And it's always good to leave your tire, or to leave your tube a little aired up so it's easy to reinstall. This also prevents it from getting snagged. So once you get it to that point, you can stick your valve in the hole here, and we'll just work our way around the tire and get it installed. Get the tube up on the rim like so. I know the lighting's probably not the greatest right here. I could even probably do this outside, but I think we'll be good. Okay, and we got our tube in the rim, and now all we gotta do is go around and slide this tube and tire all the way around the rim so that it's sealed and seated into the rim on both sides. And then when we air it up, that's all we gotta do. Usually you can do this by hand, but sometimes tire irons help, so let's go ahead and grab one of those. We're gonna pull this up like that, and then just use our palm of our hand and the finger, and that's it. And then we'll put it on the bike. There we go. Now here's the tricky part, putting it back on. Here's your dropout, right? You want these washers that we left on there from last night. We want these little parts that poke out here, the little T-shaped. We want those to be on top when we set this back in. So when we bring it up here, we're going to grab our chain like this, and then we're just going to set the rim down like that. Make sure that it's good on both sides. And once you get it in, it should pretty much fall in place. Your chain should go, once we turn it here, your chain should set in place. There you go, we got it installed. Then we just reinstall everything. So take our derailleur guard, put it in here like so. Don't install it upside down. You'll know if you install it upside down on this bike because this will not line up with here. So take that, slide it on. We'll take our fender Allen key, put this screw through the fender bracket and then through the derailleur guard. That'll hold the derailleur guard in place, and then we put our axle nut on. It holds that in place. We will take our socket and cinch this down. Tire still staying inflated. We'll see how good it holds up and if it has any slow leak or anything. Put our cap on. It's pretty loose. I guess it'll stay. Then we move to the other side. Take our torque washer here. Slide that on. Then we'll put our fender on. So take this, put it through your fender, make it go through your torque washer, torque arm, whatever you want to call it. Tighten this down. This should hold everything in place, so when you're going fast your wheel doesn't fly off. There's that. Take our axle nut, and there you go. Just make sure everything's in place. Okay, put our cap back on, and we're going to connect our motor cable. So there is a little indentation here where the cable goes. That's where we'll zip tie. We'll also zip tie it in a couple more places and up here. But this only goes in one way. There's a little notch here and a little notch inside there. Just do that. And then you screw this down. And that's it. We'll take this, wrap it around, cinch it down. We'll take this, wrap it around, make sure your cable's right there staying in place, and then I always just add an extra one just in case. Cut these off. There we go, back tire done.